Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled People. In today's episode, entitled sister-in-law stole our baby name. Now she regrets it. Art buyer thinks they are entitled to copyright. My bunnies have more say in my house than someone renting a room from me. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Entitled sister-in-law stole our baby name. Now she regrets it. Hey y'all. Long-time lurker and all that. This is a throwaway account. To cut to the chase, my wife and I spent 4 years trying to get pregnant before the wrong side of 35. We are currently 33 respectively now and are blessed with a wonderful infant son. My wife has a younger half-sister that she has been LC with for some time. The woman is entitled and toxic, and also her mother's golden child. We've refused to let her or my MIL in the house since they both blatantly tried to make off with my wife's jewelry box a couple of years ago. The box contained a lot of valuable jewelry inherited from my wife's grandmother. Said jewelry is now in a safety deposit box as per my suggestion. My wife and I had nearly given up trying to conceive when it suddenly happened. And we were ecstatic. After we found out we were having a boy, we started looking into names. I ended up suggesting the name of my Scottish grandfather, and my wife loved it. So that's the name we settled on. But we made the mistake of posting about it on social media. Well, no surprise to the stereotype in this mess, my Sael was pregnant too. And was months further along than my wife and also having a boy. She decided to claim my grandfather's name for her own son. And not just the first name, but the middle name too. We called her pissed over what she was doing, and she smugly told us there's nothing we can do about it. Which she was sorta right. There was nothing we could do about it legally, as it's still not a crime to steal planned baby names. We realized the drama was exactly what my Sael wanted. And she thought that by taking the name for herself, we'd not be able to use it. I laughed and told her that while what she did was dirty and underhanded, we would keep our chosen name. And she could just deal with it whether she decides to go through with copying us or not. Well, my Sael's baby daddy called me and said I was an unreasonable dick for still wanting to use the name after Sael claimed it. I said she claimed nothing. And since we couldn't own the name, then neither could they. Before he ended the call, he threatened me by saying I'd be sorry if we didn't change the name. Then he hung up before I could respond. Months later, Sael has a healthy baby boy and names him my grandfather's name. We did not show up for the birth. Both because of the pandemic, and because we simply didn't care to be there. Sael called us wanting congratulations. But we told her we simply didn't care. And that if she was still insisting we change our baby's name, then she'd be in for some big disappointment because we were not. Sael demanded I put my wife on the phone. But it was already on speaker and my wife spoke up and said she agrees with me entirely. We weren't changing the name. Sael hung up on us, but soon started sending emails with text walls of names. Even suggesting similar ones. I responded back that the name was from my grandfather, and that's why we were not changing it. She shut up and we didn't hear from her again till after our own son was born. 2 months later, we were blessed with our son. He came out perfect, and we named him just as we'd intended. Well, no surprise, my Sael called us a few days after the birth to scream in our ears that we copied her son's name. I pointed out she was the real copycat since she had no familial ties to the name, and we did. And anyone who looks at our family trees could see that. Then my wife spoke and said after the attempted theft of her grandmother's jewelry, she no longer considered Sael her sister. And would have nothing to do with her nephew either. For months we were bombarded with messages and emails from my wife's side of the family. Half were on our side after finding out the whole story, the other half were not. And Sael's baby daddy, true to his word, showed up at my door to make me sorry. I'm not sure what his plan was. But I pretty much towered over him. I'm 6 feet 1 inch and well built from regular exercise and 3 trips to the gym a week. He on the other hand was very skinny and about 5 feet 6 inches with a baby face that was badly hidden by a slim beard. I told him my house has cameras, and to get off my property and never come back. He just yelled a few obscenities at me and drove off in his beat-up old car. SIL and MIL called us from a different number to yell at me for making SIL's baby daddy feel emasculated. I didn't even threaten the man. Just told him to leave and not come back. And if he didn't want to feel emasculated, then he shouldn't have come knocking. Then they tried to bring up the issue of the baby name again and demanded we change our son's name as he's so young. So there's still plenty of time to do it. We held our ground and told them that they were bonkers to still think they were in the right after they copied our choice of name just to try and get one over on us. I said SIL didn't even name her son out of love, but out of spite just to try and stick it to my wife for no good reason. Then my wife called them both out on the way she was treated growing up, how entitled SIL and MIL have always been, and how she was glad to leave them far behind. And she wants nothing from them, and they won't have anything from us. That left SIL sobbing and MIL called me a royal bastard before hanging up the phone. That was NC again for a little while till SIL called us again sometime later to bitterly tell us we'd won. She and her baby daddy got in a huge fight and he left. He was apparently very sore that SIL didn't let him even give their son a middle name from his family. And he said he was sick of the bullshit and wanted his son named after him and not some guy he wasn't even related to. SIL finally caved and they got the boy's birth certificate reissued with a completely new name. Which cost SIL around $500, or so she claims. SIL then demanded we at least compensate her for the name change, plus another $100 for the emotional damage as now she's going to have to get used to calling her son by a different name. We laughed and said this would have never happened if she hadn't stolen our baby name to begin with, and we didn't owe her anything. Since then we've been NC with SIL and MIL. But my FIL, who's a very nice man and divorced from MIL for obvious reasons, would come by often and loves his grandson. From what he and other relatives told us, the situation between SIL and her baby daddy was pretty tumultuous. But we don't care. Not our monkeys, not our circus. This was very satisfying to read. SIL sounds awful. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. If you emasculated SIL baby daddy simply by telling him to leave your property, he wasn't masculine to begin with. Oh, and then they want to be reimbursed for fixing their mistake plus an extra $100? I'm so glad your FIL is a good man, especially for his daughter's sake. Wait, hold up, so you mean to tell me this man threatened you over the phone and pulled up to your house over a name he didn't like or want for his son? Defended your bat-crazy Sil for a name he didn't want or wasn't consulted on? Ha! She's the one who emasculated him. He was obviously striking out at anyone else involved. And this, dear reader, is why so many parents choose not to publish their baby's name till after they are born. Congratulations on your beautiful baby boy. Look at you, being all rational and shit. Go away. You'll ruin humanity for us and make it less entertaining. The only reason I tell people my future baby names is because I know no one else in my area would ever use the name Damien. I was surprised to meet one lady named Diana, but I don't think she's from my area. From what he and other relatives told us, the situation between SIL and her baby daddy was pretty tumultuous. That relationship won't last. She straight up named their child without him. SIL and her alleged baby daddy. Without a DNA test, how can you be sure she didn't conceive the baby without him? Maybe SIL really wanted you and thought if she used your family name, she'd get you too. That's actually very possible, as she did try to seduce me a couple of times. I have one more post that I'll make after this one to tell that part of the story. I cannot even imagine the level of petty you've been dealing with from a woman who would pull this. She created and participated in her own stupid game even though both of y'all made it clear you weren't interested in playing, then wants you to pay for the consequences of her actions? Lordy. Congrats on your son and cutting the crazy out of your life. And all you had to say was say no. Not going to do that. You didn't have to actually do anything out of the ordinary, put any effort into it, to win the war. Art buyer thinks they are entitled to copyright. For all you out there that produce creative works, photography, fine art, writing, etc., you will relate. I was a freelance fine artist for over 20 years, and was fortunate to be successful. I sold my work through numerous art galleries and art shows. I had just signed a contract for some, very, limited editions of some of my works with a publisher. Fast forward a month later and I am at a very prestigious art show. I knew which piece was my strongest and I was not surprised that it sold almost immediately to a very prominent person in the community. Somehow as the night progressed he learned that prints were going to be made of this artwork. My assistant? Gossip? Doesn't matter. He came to me demanding that I cannot make prints of this artwork. I tried to explain to him that if my prints expanded my market his investment in the original painting would increase. He was red in the face, almost screaming at me that he wanted his original painting to be the only image in existence. I took him aside and explained that the creator always owns the copyright to the image. While we may sign contracts for others to reproduce our work with a commission involved, we still own the copyright. Kicker, I told him A, I could refund his purchase money and put the piece up for sale again, or B, he could pay me to sign over the copyright for this one painting to him for $1 million. Guess what? I gave him a dose of reality. He went through with the purchase, and now has the frustrating further entitlement of bragging about how much his original painting is worth. Sometimes you take what you can get, but it was satisfying in the moment. A particularly satisfying example of this is the NFT collective who paid €2.66 million for Jodorowsky's Dune Bible, thinking this allowed them to use all the copyright Dune material for an original animated series, etc. They were somewhat disappointed to discover they all owned a small share in one, very rare, physical book. And nothing more. Given that it's an NFT, it wouldn't even be the book itself, just a share in a digital file of the book? Maybe there is a level of wealth where it correlates to stupidity. So if I buy an original painting, all I own is the actual painting and the artist actually still owns it and the right to make and sell prints, and I suppose even paint a copy and put it up for sale? There are exceptions, such as characters or whatnot, but with prints, it's generally known in the art community that you're not going to be getting the only one unless the artist makes that explicitly clear. I buy and commission art, and this varies so much. Some artists do sign off all the rights. I have several pieces, I can do what I like with print-wise. Others artist retains right. In one case, as artist no longer doing commission or to order mugs, prints, etc., I am trying to buy digital files/rights. It really needs to be an artist T&Cs, as varies so much. Most of what I commission are pictures of dead pets and relatives, so copyright important. Imagine going to a shop and seeing your dead pet or mother plastered on the wall under a smart logo. That almost happened to me, so now very careful in negotiating, but don't assume end customer knows intricacies. I mean, if he wants a one-off original, then he can pay the price or find an artist who he can afford. My bunnies have more say in my house than someone renting a room from me. My partner has made me realize these stories absolutely screams entitlement. So I had bought a house and rented a room out to a friend for only $100 a week. Thought I was doing the right thing, giving her a leg up. I would work away for months on end, so it was also nice to just have someone there in case of break-ins. I was home for about 2 months, so obviously, I wanted to catch up with mates before I head off again. I had mainly 3 friends that would come into the house, and we would have a beer or two and watch some movies. They even made dinner for my friend one time. They are the most least threatening people alive. I had drinks before I left with a few old work colleagues. Rule was, stay outside and I'll grab beers from inside. I had a functional toilet in the workshop, so everyone just used that, including myself, so none of them went inside. They all respected my wishes, and it was a good night. She had come home, she didn't say hi to anyone, and they didn't go and talk to her. She went inside and I didn't see her at all. Skip to further down the track, she told me I wasn't allowed to have my friends over in my house because she would get scared and lock herself in the ensuite bathroom. I had the most stupid look on my face. I couldn't believe she insulted my friends when she had never even tried to talk to them. None of them never went in her room. If she didn't want to socialize, she could just stay in her room. And if she doesn't like a homeowner have their friends over to their house, don't rent a room? My friends respected my house rules and even went above and beyond to make her dinner. The second time was when I had to ask permission to bring my own pets back home with me during my weeks off work. Turns out she had a dog in the house that I definitely did not approve. I had allowed another dog visit as I knew the dog and know it wouldn't jump a gate to get to my pets. But this was a completely different dog I had never met, and it was a Doberman that is very capable of jumping the gate, and my pets were bunnies. Should be common sense what not to do. She had a cry to my mom, which I was then told I needed permission to bring my pets home. I was fuming. My pets have more say in the house than she does. I would have kicked her out then, but I was about to sell the house as I was getting tired of people thinking they were more entitled to my house. Also had new floors put in, so I actually would have preferred for dogs to be 100% outside as I didn't want the new floors scratched. If it was the other way around and I was renting the room in her house, then yes, I should ask permission to have friends over and to bring my pets. But I was the only one that paid the deposit and it was my name on the title. Who goes to a house and tells the homeowner they can't have friends or their pets at the house? It's common sense and extremely disrespectful. Sold the house at the beginning of the year and have been traveling for work with my bunnies. Everyone was telling me to not spend any of my money, but bought myself a nice 4WD to travel and about to go on a huge holiday. I still have heaps of money left over to settle down whenever I want. Everyone is definitely not entitled to my money or what happens to it. My bunnies will have a say about my money before anyone. Bunny tax? You can't tell us about bunnies and not let us see the bunnies and collectively respond, "Aw. What a pill." Of course your bunnies have more say than she does. Such entitlement. By the way, the bunnies called me. They hope you don't mind that they ordered themselves some treats. Time to give her notice to vacate. If you think you would like to be more merciful and have her remain, get a complete lease in writing with every detail. And watch about 3 seasons of Judge Judy. If you change your mind from ever being a landlord. Yes, as I said, I sold the house already. I told her 6 months prior that I plan on selling in October. Ended delaying an extra 2 months and still had something to complain about. Kick her out. She violated her rental agreement by bringing her dog in without informing you and putting down a dog deposit. Just straight up kick her out. If she goes crying off to your mom again, tell mom she can house her then. Your house, your rules. The people have spoken. We want to see the bunnies when you have a moment. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.